It's 5:30 in the morning. Just woke up, so we're headed to the parking lot. We're driving all the way to Tarlac. Today's topic, we want to discuss to everyone why we do a lot of big ring, high torque training. A lot of questions. Uh, if it's dangerous, if it's gonna cause ITB issues on the knee. A lot of really non-mainstream methodology that we use for recreational cyclists, and these are recreational meaning they're still recovering from hypertension, just lost weight. So we're gonna help them out how to enjoy cycling. If you follow the world of pro tour cycling, recently, just this week, we just finished the UAE tour. Stage 5 was a 21 kilometer massive climb, a total of 168 kilometer stage race, going up to almost 5,000 feet. And we witnessed some of the best climbers in the world climb it like nothing. With that, before we start, let me show you a clip of the recent UAE tour, stage 5. Considered one of the queen stages, a huge climb, and you will notice how European World Tour level pros climb on the big ring. No cross chaining issues, just smooth, rock solid posture, biomechanics, acceleration, all on the big ring, no issues. So the question is, how come if your superstar world tour level pro does it, we're always like head over heels, awe and ass, but when your friendly neighborhood recreational biker does it, we're quick to judge that it's wrong. So watch this clip and we'll show you a segment of our Mount Samat torque session. And torque is not cadence, torque is not power, torque is torque. Basic science, basic physics. So this is the closing stages, closing kilometers of the 168 kilometer stage 5 UAE tour. The final 21 kilometers go all the way up, and this is Alexey Lutzenko, Breakaway, and you will notice that even on the steepest climb, he's on the biggest ring. He is spinning it at 90 to 100 RPM, but you have to produce 450 to 500 watts to do the same. So it may seem that they are spinning just because, well, you see them spinning. Even the drop riders are still on the big ring. Sometimes we put things in perspective in a skewed way. So pros can spin at 90 to 100 RPM, but they're spinning the biggest ring, maybe in the fifth or fourth cog. And here, Vincenzo Nibali attacks the front group on the big ring. It may seem like he's in a small ring, but he is in the big ring, applying a massive amount of torque at 90 to 100 RPM, 400 watts, 500 watts, and that attack would usually cost him 600 watts. And you'll notice that the way he holds the bike, he uses his core. This is exactly the same thing that we train for on those big Mount Samat Tagaytay climbs on the big ring. You have to develop your core to be able to distribute the stress from your quads, from your legs, all the way to your back, all the way to your abdominal muscles, including your arms. Now, if you look at the camera as it zooms out, basically everyone has the same posture, same position. Maybe biomechanically, the only way you can produce this attack by João Almeida is to be able to use all the core muscles in sync. Here, Simon Yates and Tadej Bukacha are on their big ring. Jonas Vanguard breaks away from the entire group on the big ring, holding the hoods exactly how we biomechanically fit and bike fit most recreational riders. And this is the reason why when you notice our bike fitting sessions, there's a reason why we fit them that way. We call it functional fitting. Functional fitting means that you're going to be bike fitted based on how we are going to be coaching you. And so we offer holistic coaching. Alexey Lutzenko with 800 meters to go. 800 meters to go, steepest climb of the day, still holds a very commanding lead, perfect posture, perfect smoothness, and that's the climb. That's how steep the climb is. They just make it look so easy.
it's because they don't rock around the bike all the time. With 500 meters to go, Jonas catches him and attacks on the big ring again. And this is the only way we can create a gap on the big ring. If you attack on the small ring, they're just gonna maul you around. And unfortunately, Alexey Lutzenko loses the wheel, and Simon Yates and Tadej Pogacar at the back manages to catch this long breakaway, but Jonas wins it on the big ring. On the big ring. And they make it look so easy.
So we've received a few inquiries about our training methodology. So we've stressed out that we focus a lot on the recreational riders. Recreational meaning they're very proud to tell people that they have personal lives, professional work, family that they have to attend to, and biking becomes a mental stress reliever. So these guys are not racers, but we do cycling activity to get them moving and staying fit. So today we've been publishing a few training sessions, one of which is recently yesterday in Mount Samat, where everyone started to ride on the big ring. And mainstream narrative says that riding on the big ring is really, really bad on the knees, and most of our veteran cyclists would always advise that we do cadence spinning, 100, 120 RPMs, 90 RPMs, totally fine. It works out, but for most of our recreational riders, they don't have the time nor the opportunity to do a lot of mileage. So we came up with some alternative form of physical conditioning tied up with nutrition to shortcut the learning process. And I think them racing in Tarlac a few weeks ago would have vindicated that approach, because they were surprised, we were surprised, everyone was surprised. They could roll over and start riding like our seasoned pros. So
If you review this alternative training program, it might just improve your flatland speed, your jump, your sprint, and everything else.
So there's what you call torque training. So today we tested if we can ride this crank up the hill. It was hard, 56, but so in time trial training you have to develop posture specific muscles and ligaments. It doesn't mean that you bought a time trial bike you're gonna be fast. You have to I'm tired.
You have to rest.
I have to take a rest, but okay. Anyway, so today's workouts we rode from Clark all the way to Mount Samat, but once we got to Mount Samat, we had to test the new posture, because before the season starts, you would have to have developed the right posture. And posture is not just posture, you have to have what you call posture muscles, posture ligaments, and part of that is developing a little bit of torque. So today we tested our 56 crank. It worked out, but it's hard. There were sections there that was 21%. Crazy. Okay, tank done.
Awesome.
Okay, let's
Great
wait
climb.
for everyone. There's Benjo. After coming from Clark, we've decided to do a little bit of mileage. So all the boys came from Manila, met up in Clark, rode 75 kilometers, and then this is the start of the climb in Mount Samat. So the objective today is that we have a 70 kilometer warm-up and then a 6 kilometer climb up to Samat. The objective is develop torque. Torque is something that's not being discussed a lot on social media or coaching programs, but torque is the one that produces, you can say, speed. I mean, you can opt to do cadence, but if you don't invest on the most basic foundation, which is torque, then you will find yourself plateauing. So here's Matt. Matt is one of our recreational bikers, and when we say recreational, these guys have day jobs, families, and all the other stuff that they have to do at home. So to shortcut the training program, they have to do non-mainstream style of training. And here we're guiding Matt and everyone else how to maintain and develop posture muscle, posture ligaments, and to excite the program, we do a game of chase. We have some guests from Nueva Ecija. They went ahead. Tommy is up ahead on the road. Benjo is up ahead of the road, and we are tasked to chase each one of them. And well, we want to try to use time trial bikes on the climb for the purpose of activating core muscle. So if you're one of those smart Einsteins coaching us that using an aero bike and a time trial bike on a climb is not correct, well, we're not climbing with time trial bikes for a race. We're using our time trial bikes to develop torque. If you notice, the upper back, lower back, side muscles, abdominals, shoulders, glutes, hamstrings, you have to develop the whole lot. And if you compare our guest rider from behind, he has to keep up with an insane pace, and eventually, we slowly catch Benjo. Benjo just enrolled a week ago, and he's already here. And this is one of those 18% section climb, and you will notice that the torque is a little bit higher, and we get to drop one of the riders. So even on those insane gradients, all you gotta do is just not move. So the key in developing power and torque and sustainable effort is to minimize any movement. And this is the only way you can do it safely, because if we do this torque on the highways, the result would be high-speed time trial.
Here in the Philippines, it's not always a default that we have open roads, closed public roads, and training at high speeds become very, very dangerous, especially when open traffic is all over you. Thus, we only practice high-speed time trials, say going above 45, 50, dangerously 55, in low traffic density roads. But since these situations don't usually happen, we try to replace the same effort, the same torque effect, and look for long climbs. Climbs as short as, let's say, 5 to 6 kilometers distance is more than enough to develop the same torque and effort, similar to this.
And you see here on the inset an example of our time trial test that we did recently at Cyclists in Tarlac. This is the result of training like this on a 56 tooth chainring. Even when you stand up, you have to balance the whole system, or else you're gonna be unsynchronized. You're gonna be rocking around the bike. You're gonna be wasting a lot of energy. So even if you're standing, you have to be standing like you're dancing in a ballet performance. Everything should just work in sync. The gears that you use, the way you're scraping, you're pulling the handlebars. The objective is not to increase your heart rate. So even though we're climbing 8, 10, 12, 15% gradients, and even if you want to attack, your heart rate stays low, simply because we use torque as our primary metric. Benjo finally gets caught, and the only one left in front would be Tommy the Tank. So Tommy the Tank is our final lead out guy. These guys, these boys, these kids are all recreational bikers. They decided to use cycling as part of their healthcare program. Not really serious cyclists yet, but after the results of our test events, in Tarlac. Everyone got encouraged and they said that maybe we can do another training camp and see how far we can go. And this is one of those training camps. We do this regularly. Balanga, Clark, Subic, Sierra Madre in Tagaytay. So I had to leave Benjo behind and start putting in a lot of effort and cadence and RPM to catch Tom. Hopefully Tom's gonna be there. There he is. So we finally caught Tom after I think 1.5 kilometers to the finish. And well, I just had to drive the cadence and form. If you notice, your upper body should not move. And when you move your upper body, you can produce more torque, you can conserve more energy, you can lower your heart rate. And you can see the crank there. We're now using a 56 crank just for testing, just for torque. Because if your torque muscles don't work, I doubt if it's going to be difficult to rotate a 56 tooth chainring. So here we are, improving our aerodynamics, improving our torque, improving our overall holistic muscles, and we're just on a target. And finally, in 1 kilometer, I think it's 1.2 kilometers to the finish, we finally caught Tom. Tom is a fantastic guy. He came from zero, just lost 27 kilograms in the span of 60 days.
Oh, yeah.
And here he is now, enjoying his day. He's one of our reliable rollers. And I just had to keep the pace going all the way to the summit. They call it Badambana ng Kagitingan, popularly known internationally as the I forgot how they call it in English. So anyway, 1 kilometer to the finish line. Despite the mileage, despite the stress, the harder the course becomes. And at this point, this is where those 18 and 21% gradients start to bite. It's not an easy course, especially once you start getting into the summit finish. I had to stand up because I'm gonna stall, and those chicanes, this particular chicane is one of those really hard corners, and this is where you can really use torque. We just have to keep it rolling. Now Tom is just behind, and he's being encouraged to keep on going, close the gap, and hopefully when he closes the gap, we will have a sprint on top of the summit, just like what we do every weekend. So if you're available, you can just drop by and join us. So finally, we reached the 1 kilometer point. Once you see this marker, everything's just gonna be beautiful. DK is called Dambana ng Kagitingan. 1 kilometer to go. This is the site of the Death March. Once you see that 1K to go, everything starts hurting. Everything starts becoming harder. Everything just becomes 10 times more difficult mentally. But finally, Tom was able to catch up. And if there was audio here, he could just hear it from his earpiece to keep on going. That's not his motor. That's Manong cutting grasses. But yeah, literally that's how Tom starts, like a big V8 engine. And for his size to be able to climb like this is phenomenal. And all the other recreational bikers just behind us, just a few meters behind us. And this point is I think 250 meters or 300 meters to the finish line. If you stop here, you literally will walk. This is that point wherein the gradient goes up to 21%. And at 21%, everything that you do wrong will be amplified. Here, Tommy's early effort is starting to bite him. He just has to keep up. Unfortunately, the gradient's just too much, and this zigzagging style is one of those cheeky moves where you can lessen the gradient. Even I had to do it just to keep the pedal going. Tom had to bail out. It was just too difficult, but kudos to him. 100 meters to the finish line. And this is what we do. Once we get to the finish line, stop, take a rest, high five, and the best thing about it,
You can do it all over again on a different bike. So this time we can use a modified road bike with the same crank, aero wheels, drops, So when you use the drops, you use a different muscle group. This similarly mimics gym workout. Like literally everything has to work out: your arms, your back, your lats, your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, the fit of your shoe. Everything else is amplified. Everything wrong is amplified. This is the same 21% gradient on the same course.
Come on, Matt. Stay on the left side of the road. Come on. Oh, good job, Emil. Stay on the left side of the road. %, baby. Lower. Go to your hood, Samuel. Gotta go all the way.
To the gate.
To the gate, okay?
Well
Steady,
done, man.
steady.
Good
Don't
job.
sprint
Good
it.
job.
Don't sprint it. Do not sprint it.
Straight away, you got this.
Don't sprint it.
You know, it's 7, 10, 15 meters in less than 100 feet.
Okay, so in this training camp, we're gonna be doing torque just to perfect our chase group. So we're gonna be going back to Silex, Tarlac, and so this is where it happens. You have to start developing your posture muscles by riding on high torque. So at the moment, this is what we got. So we got a 56 for the day. Single chain ring just to make sure that there's no choice. So everyone's starting to climb now.
And this is an actual sample application of this big ring torque on real roads. This one, we are doing it and the climb in Sampaloc Road from Tagaytay Lake all the way up to Tagaytay Rotonda. This is 11 kilometers.
And like any training camp, after a good day's workout, everyone gets together, have lunch together, analyze, debrief. Everyone should understand what the purpose was today. Remember, when you train, you don't train just for a race. Most of us don't really race. Racing is entertainment for most of us recreational bikers. So maybe perhaps if you can make it more of a lifestyle-based training program, everyone can sustain and have fun and make cycling as part of their lifestyle. Plant-based diet, no hypertension. So in case you are interested, please join us. Training camps for recreational cyclists.
Like that.
And this is what we call industrial, light, and magic. Beautiful, right, brother?
Yeah. Good.
So when you're in Clark and you want to have like biomechanical tuning, we have it here on our Rapid. So if you are in a hurry, we have this what we call Rapid Drive-Through Bike Fitting and Assessment Program. Just drop by with your bike in our parking space here in Clark, and we're gonna biomechanically tune you plus ride immediately after the bike fit, just to make sure that everything that we did here makes sense. If it does not make sense, if you don't improve, then you get your money back guarantee, 100%. And our specimen for the day is Robert. Drove all the way from Tarlac and he finally decided to bike fit and biomechanical tuning test. We call it industrial, light, and that's magic. Good job, man. Okay, done.